Ever heard of a company called Zapas? Well, it's a Polish-based knife company. And today we're going to test out not only one, not two, but three of their brand new, just released knives. Yeah, they make all of their knives in-house, so I'm pretty excited to test them out. So, let's unpack them and see what we have. Let's start with the small one and work our way up. So, here's the first one. The second one. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, the boxes are fairly solid. They say made in Poland, so that's pretty cool. And the big boy. Let's open it up. This one's slightly different. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, we have three very different knives. Yeah, we have a compact EDC one, I'd say an average size tactical one, and this massive beast. So yeah, let's take a closer look at each and every one of them, and yeah, after that, let's test them out. First off, the compact one. This is actually called the Talon, and it comes with a pretty sturdy Kydex sheath, which holds the blade in very well. The sheath comes with a belt or pocket clip, which seems to work pretty well, but we'll test it later. So yeah, when it comes to the knife itself, it comes with pretty decent G10 scales, which feel really good. Yeah, smooth. And when it comes to the blade, this is 1.4116S blade steel. So yeah, it's fairly similar to the 14C 2810, which I like a lot. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And it weighs only 70 grams. You can see all the other measurements on the screen. Actually, I really like this one. Yeah, feels super nice when gripping it. Yeah, it fits very well. And the jimping on the spine feels super nice. It gives a really nice grip when pushing it like this. Yeah, this one, super nice. And has somewhat of a karambit style. So yeah, I like it. So yeah, let's jump to the next one. Because now we need to check out the medium-sized tactical knife. This one also came with a Kydex sheath, which holds the blade in pretty well, pretty sturdy. But we'll test it out a bit later. Now, the knife. This one also has a G10 handle or G10 scales, which feel really nice. They have this grooved pattern on it, so that gives a really nice grip. But we'll see how it feels during the cuts. And when it comes to the blade itself, this is a full tank NMV tool steel blade, which I've actually never tested before, but it's supposed to be really nice, so I'm pretty excited. And when it comes to the size, it weighs about 234 grams, and the other specs you can see on the screen. It's actually called the Vidi-NMV. They have three very similar knives, which are called Veni, Vidi, and Vici. Yeah, that's pretty funny and pretty easy to remember, so yeah, it's pretty cool. But now it's time for the big boy. This one, just like all the other ones, came with a Kydex sheath, which feels quite sturdy. Doesn't quite have that click of the previous one, but still feels pretty sturdy, so that's pretty cool. But now, when it comes to the knife itself, first off, yeah, it's massive. It has these clean looking G10 scales, or G10 handle, which is a lot smoother than the previous one, but due to these grooves, the grip feels super nice. And when it comes to the blade, this is also an NMV tool steel blade, which is a full tank blade, so that's pretty cool. And when it comes to the size, it weighs about 380 grams, and the other specs you can see on the screen. And yeah, it's actually called the MVT, which is an acronym for Military Warfare Tactical. And it feels like it. Feels really sturdy. And yeah, overall, really nice. So let's run them through some tests. First off, easy one. Let's see how they cut paracord. Can they all cut it? I hope they can. Yeah, so far about similar, all of them. Now the large one. Yeah, they're all pretty sharp. But now let's try and split a zip tie. Let's start with the compact one again. It's pretty hard to split a zip tie with it, but I got the work done. Now the medium-sized one. these are the thickest zip ties I have in my local hardware store, so this is no light task, but they're slipping out. But yeah, it's pretty hard actually. They might be not quite as sharp as I'd like. Let's try it with the big one. It's slipping out. But yeah, okay, let's leave it to my test tower. Let's test it there. There will be no slipping. But now, let's try it with some paper. Let's start again with the smaller one, with the Talon. Yeah, feels quite sharp. Now the Vidi. This also feels quite sharp. And now the MVP. Yeah, feels really nice. Yeah, no problem. I really don't know why the zip ties were an issue, but just in case my hands are just slippery today, let's also test it like this. So there's a better grip. Flew away. But yeah. Yeah, zip ties are a challenge for these two. Don't know why. But yeah, we'll see how they perform on my test tower. Let's see. Yeah, let's compare them. For this one, let's compare only the two big ones, because the compact one will be a bit too short and yeah, will be a struggle. But yeah, let's jump to the test. I'll compare them side by side, and as usual, the top results will be in the middle. Let's jump to the test. As you saw, the MVT did do better. But, to be frank, I was actually expecting better results from both of them. They both struggled on zip ties for some reason. Yeah, they're sharp, so I don't know what's the issue, but for some reason they struggle cutting zip ties. Not like this. This is a pretty valid option to cut zip ties with it, but when cutting them in a traditional way, they struggle a bit, which might be some specific tool steel problem or what, as otherwise they feel really nice, but for some reason zip ties are a struggle. But now let's test it with some wood. Let's see how they perform when splitting it, and yeah, how it feels. Yeah, the Vidi felt really good. Feels really comfortable. The grip feels really nice. Now the MVT. I'm pretty sure there's a knot. Let's try a different spot. Yeah, also feels quite nice. Now let's pick up a smaller piece and let's try with the Talon. Let's see how this feels. This is obviously more of a EDC knife, so this is not the main task for it. But yeah, performs quite nicely. Yeah, no issues. Let's see how they perform while carving. Whoa, the Talon feels super nice. The grip feels very nice, I would say. I really like this groove and the jimping on it, as when carving or cutting, it feels very nice. Now let's try it with the Vidi. Let's take a different piece. This one also feels quite nice, quite a good grip, doesn't slip. You can see it has a bit of a rougher jimping on it than the Talon. It feels quite nice. But now the MVT. Again, let's grab a different piece. Yeah, feels really nice. Yeah, pretty cool. So now there's one more thing we need to test, and that is how they hold on the belt. So first off, the easiest one, let's test the Talon. As simply hooks on like this. Let's put the blade in, see how it feels, how it looks. So it looks like this, actually quite nice. It could be a bit sturdier, as I actually can't pull out the blade without holding the sheath like this. As when I pull it like this, the whole sheath comes off. Yeah. But how sturdy it is, yeah, when jumping like this, it will probably fall off. But in a normal way, seems not. Seems quite sturdy. And I'd say it's fairly nice. The only issue is that I like the clip to be slightly stronger, as the knife comes together with the sheath. But let's try it as a pocket clip. This could technically be also used like this, which is pretty cool. It's about, let's say, the same level of sturdiness. Also won't fall off, at least easily. But again, yeah. Now, for the next ones, we need to unbuckle our belt. Let's put them both on at the same time so we can compare them side by side. And here they are. As they are not clipped on the belt, they probably won't fall off anywhere, so yeah, they're pretty sturdy. Let's put the blades in. First the Vidi, and now the MVT. Here's how they look. Size comparison, side by side. Both feel pretty sturdy, pretty good. Won't go anywhere, I think. And I'm pulling them out. First the Vidi. Can be pulled out without holding the sheath, so like this. Now the MVT, it's a bit easier, but when you hold the sheath with your thumb, no issues on both of them. Feel, I'd say, quite nice. Yeah, so overall, I'd say all of these knives are quite nice. Let's put this to the side. I'll test out the Talon, carry it as my EDC knife. Let's see how it holds up, and let's make an update in a month or two. Let's see how this goes. And with these two, I'll probably do some more tests outdoors. We'll film some short videos. You can check them out. And yeah, overall, all three of them are quite nice. So, if you want to pick one up, I'll leave the links in the description. If you like this review, leave a like, subscribe, and see you next one. Bye.